Well, happy Wednesday, or if you're looking at the soybean market, maybe we'll just say it is Wednesday. It is December 18th, and welcome to ATI Pro Media. We've got soybeans continuing their downward slide, right? They cannot catch a bid. Other than that, we've got some news out of China. I think Brady and I need to talk a little bit about this corn soy ratio and just looking, right? This lower soybean price, what does it mean for acreage intentions coming into 2025, right? Are you planting more corn, right? Where's the profitability at? Drop us a comment, leave a question. We'd love to answer it. Other than that, Fed rate decision, cattle on feed is coming out. Christmas is 7 days away. Get your shopping in. Brady Huck, what else we got? What did I miss?
I love it. The Christmas countdown. Let's walk through your markets. Let's tell everybody where your markets are at here this morning.
Let's do it.
Going over to LaSalle Street. March corn up 2 1/4, up 445 3/4. Beans continued to leak lower, down 12. Jan beans down 12, 964.5. Chicago wheat up 4.5 to 5 cents, 557. KC wheat up 4.5 to 5 at 557 as well. Feeder cattle a little lower, down 300 points. March down 55 points. The live cattle down 200 points on live cattle. And looking over at your hog market, hogs got a little green on the screen. The Christmas colors there. Feb hogs up 40 points. Looking over your energy markets, energy crude's up 89.90 points. Diesel's up 3 cents. Nat gas up 7 cents. The Dow up 150. The S&P up 4, and the Nasdaq down 15. Maybe the Dow can have a positive day today, Connor. Maybe the Dow can have a positive day. We'll see.
We need something positive, right? I think the story, my topic for today's show is going to be this soybean market, right? Just looking at continually sliding lower, right down. March soybeans down 13 as we look at it. But with that, let's do. We did have some flash sales. We'll go ahead and talk about that, right? 135 metric ton corn to Colombia, 120,000 metric ton soybean meal to Colombia as well. Good to see. But yeah, talk about a sell-off in soybeans, Brady. In my opinion, right, we're not getting any type of renewable fuels, biodiesel rhetoric. If you remember 2 months ago, maybe even longer than that, we saw the Biden administration say they were going to release something this winter before he's out of office. That has not happened. Uncertainty going forward with the Trump administration, right? So that biodiesel, it kind of feels like a dead duck in the water. And then the same thing you and I have been talking about, South America's got a huge soybean crop, right? And it's weighing on the soybean market right now.
Yep. Definitely feel like a dog, feel very heavy. Things can change, and I guess you got to hope for that change. But gosh, if you're just sitting there hoping that this thing catches some support down there and bounces, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, everyone loves to look at seasonals. I love to look at seasonals, right? When we're planting the crop in the United States, right? Generally, that's a pretty good time to be making sales, right? We've all seen the charts. We've got to respect the seasonals when it comes to South America too, right? The time frame of when they're planting their soybean crop, right? It gives us good opportunities, right? A lot, it's not even to 2025. We got a long time to go. We'll see what soybeans can do in the next week, next couple weeks, next month. But right now we've seen a pretty good slide, right? The chart's ugly. We're kind of in that free fall mode, and we're seeing it right now.
Yep, definitely. And those beans will be hitting the market here pretty soon. January timeframe, we'll be flipping out of those and putting some safrinha corn acres in. A lot of moving pieces as we turn the calendar year and get through these next few weeks. There's going to be a lot happening in the markets that could potentially move these markets more than you think possible, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we're looking, when I'm looking at my quote screen and I see soybeans down 13, I see March corn up 1.50, 2 cents, right? I think we need to talk about looking toward next year, right? And just looking at that corn soy ratio, right? Right now, I don't know anyone that looks at 975 Nov 25 soybeans and says, yeah, I'm going to plant a whole bunch of soybeans for next year, right? And so we're seeing, that corn soy ratio. I think it is at a 225 as of yesterday. I think today it's probably getting even a little bit more extreme, right? That's the lowest lowest for this time frame since 2015, Brady.
Wow. That's not buying bean acres, Connor B. You said it right there. Well, it's not buying bean acres. So how many corn acres will we plant if we have a corn bean ratio in that ballpark? That's the big question I wonder. What do we have? 91 million acres of corn last year.
Yep.
We're going to have 93, 4, 95 million acres of corn. And how does that with the trend yield impact balance sheets going forward? Yeah, Connor.
Yeah. Time will tell. We've seen that ratio move significantly by the time we start planning or get into the summer. But here's the busy chart, but really what it's saying, if you look over to the right, that dark blue line, you can see right that ratio's heavily favoring corn soybeans for this time of year, right? We've seen if you look at the dots, that's the min max, and of course, going through going to July, August, right? We've seen it get much more extreme. But for this time of year, right, it's a significant drop and really pushing for corn acres.
Yep. Bring that up one more time. I want to talk through it a little bit. Just want to see that
go
again.
ahead.
So you got the min max there, those gray lines. That's kind of the windows of where we've seen some extremes on the maximum for that ratio and the minimum for that ratio. There's still room for that to widen, is what that tells me. And that looks back at 09 to 23. Doesn't maybe look as dynamic as I feel it is today, looking at some of those ranges. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and, how soft beans can get versus corn if conditions are, warranted for that. So interesting graphic for sure.
Absolutely. When I look at that, and whenever I start talking about corn soy ratio, right, market's telling you to plant X versus X. I think if you're making those decisions today, right, my message would be make sure you're defending that decision, because these things change very quickly, right? A lot of times we can see that ratio maybe get more in line, and we hope that means that soybeans rally. But it doesn't always mean that, Brady. Sometimes it can be because corn futures are going to drop down below. So I'd say if you're planting more corn acres, right, make sure talk about how you're going to defend that decision. That'd be my message today.
Yep, absolutely. I like it. And if you're watching today or tomorrow, leave us a comment and let us know, are you planting more corn next year? You plant more beans next year? We want to know what you're thinking on your farm.
Absolutely. So, well, let's keep moving right along, right? What's our next headline?
What do we got? It popped up there. China Sinograin to stop auction of imported corn from stockpiles. Connor, what do you think of this?
Yeah. So it basically, their China's state stockpiler, Sino Grain, said on Wednesday it could stop auctions of imported corn from its inventories, part of its efforts to prop up local corn prices at 4.5-year lows. So my big takeaway is that China's dealing with lower corn prices as well because they had a bumper crop, right? A significant, right? They've seen their the most active corn futures on the Dalian Commodity Exchange has tumbled 14% so far this year. And so, they're dealing with the same thing. We're seeing oversupply, right? And we're seeing them trying to solve that. When we look at, U.S. corn exports have been robust. It's really been the cheerleader for this corn market. None of it has went to China. When we look at Brazil corn exports to China, right? Last year, if you're a Brazilian farmer, it was a fantastic, right? Record exports to China. We haven't, as big as we've ever seen from Brazil to China. We're not seeing that this year, right? And at the end of the day, China's got enough corn. That's my takeaway. And sometimes when we talk about China as a trade partner, right? They it can be a little, what's the term I'm looking for? Like, we don't know what they're going to do, right? And so, but I think at the end of the day, right, their supply is ample and they're not necessarily needing to go out and buy a whole lot of corn. That's my takeaway.
Yeah. We need a bull story, Connor. And it doesn't seem like, we got the bearish type of big bean crop in South America. We've got, China's not importing the corn from U.S. or nor Brazil. 2 points you made there. We need a bull story to keep feeding these bulls. Otherwise, it feels like that path of least resistance is lower, especially this time of year when the U.S. farmer's sitting on old crop stocks and got to convert those bushels to cash at some point because the bills need paid, Connor. We got to pay the bills.
Absolutely.
Keep the lights on.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about something positive. We had the government stopgap spending bill yesterday, just a small bill that they passed, a couple pages, simple, clean, continuing resolutions about funding aid. Connor, we got a live shot. Connor's been reading it here on his desk. 1,500 pages. Look at that baby. Wow. Talk about killing some trees. Gee, many.
Oh man,
It's a big,
I saw that Vivek said he's reading the whole thing, but 1,547 pages to be exact. So we'll see, right? The hope is, I think the hope is we get it passed through. Is it tomorrow over the weekend? I think is the time they have, and
yeah.
so you and I have been, in terms of the stopgap spending bill, you and I have been focused. What could we see in terms of economic aid for farmers? Looks like there's going to be something in there. It's just, what is going to be there. It looks like it's going to be maybe, about half of what they were asking for in terms of the Farm Act, right, that we saw back in early November. But I think we'll have details of that probably over the weekend, maybe earlier, but we'll see where that is. But it looks like we're going to see some type of economic aid for farmers.
Well, I'm all for disaster relief and helping guys out with packages for those that need it. But 1,500 pages to keep the government open and bridge the gap to the next administration, and it just seems these deals. This is how Washington works. They sneak all these things in, and you just don't know what's in there. And there's a lot of hidden agendas in these types of these bills, and that's what I don't like. I wish it was clean, simple, straightforward, and we could keep the government open, let them do the jobs and work for the people that they need to that they're supposed to be working for. So I don't know.
Was it part of the stopgap spending bill? I think you sent it to me, and then I saw it on Twitter. Is just about ethanol E15 being available year round. Is that speaking of sneaking things in? Is that part of that where we're going to see ethanol, E15 offered year round? It was kind of a little bit of a surprise, right?
Yeah, and that's a huge carrot. That gets me excited. I'm glad to see that. But there's other things in there of wasteful government spending, in my opinion, that I just like. Gosh, you dangle this carrot in my face of year, you can have your E15 all year. But don't look over here, Connor. Don't look over here.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what else we got today? We got a Fed rate decision, and so everyone. What is it, Brady? 95% chance we get a rate cut. But the interesting stat I saw is that MSNBC did a poll, and 95% of people, or whatever the stat is, think there's going to be a rate cut. Something like 65% think there should be a rate cut. Right? A lot of people thinking that we're not in a position to cut rates. Jay Powell, he's been decently vocal that he's not going to predict. In terms of the Trump administration, he's not factoring that in. He is focused on he's going to react, right? Once we get into the new year, he'll start thinking of that way. But interesting. So I think we're going to see a rate cut, right? That's where the odds are all pointing to. But the question is the economy, are we in a right place to be cutting rates, right? Has inflation gone away? I don't know. Time will tell.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see. Watch the dollar, how the dollar reacts, watch how the stock market reacts, and all the implications there. But the words, those key words that Jay Powell says and how he answers some of those questions and the dot plot, going to be all eyes here this afternoon. But
yep. And so
next, I got cattle on feed reports Friday coming up. We'll do a special on that Friday. Here's a snapshot of some of the estimates. I blasted that out to customers. If you're on our list, you got that yesterday, but looking for kind of inline feed numbers, placements lower, marketing's a little bit lower as well. We'll see what gets printed there. We'll do a deep dive on it after that comes out. And we got a hog and pigs report around the corner next Monday. So a lot of stuff in the meat side of things coming up too, Connor.
Okay, good stuff. Hey, you did a good premium with Brian Basting, where you just really dove into the wheat market, right? Give us a little some tidbits. What do you guys?
Yeah, we talked wheat with Brian. Brian's a knowledgeable asset with ATI Research, and we walked through balance sheets. We walked through wheat feeding, where that's at. We looked at current conditions relative to final yield, and we had some specific recommendations for farmers to go out there and do some marketing decisions. If you want that premium, sign up today. You'll get it. We'll get it to you.
Good stuff. Well, I think we got one question, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Right? We'll see. So, Luke, unless something significant changes between now and April, we won't plant a single acre of soybeans, corn, cotton, maybe sorghum. So,
good stuff, Luke. King corn. Let's bring it. Bring it to the farm.
Like we needed any reason to plant more corn, but guess what? We're getting the reasons. And so I've been hearing that, a lot of people, that's the chatter, right? Is why would I be planting soybeans? And so it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, we've seen this corn soy ratio. It can change very quickly, but yeah, right now, right, the economics are saying plant corn. So that's what we're going to roll with, I guess.
Yep. Like you said earlier, if you're making a decision to plant more of one crop versus another, make sure you're managing the risk on that crop that you choose to plant. I like it, Connor.
Absolutely.
Let's get out of here. Let's get to work.
Let's do it. Everyone have a great day.
See you.